How's it going, Ted?
Good. How you doing?
Very good. So now if we go into the monthly P&L, all the numbers are correct. Before the expenses were only showing up like $300, but now you can actually see the full value of the expenses.
Yeah.
All right. So on average, you're doing something like 14, 15 flips a month. June was a great month for you. July has been a good month for you too, because you're only halfway through. You've already done 15 flips.
I went on vacation for a week too. I feel like I've been improving over time. And I think this month would have been real good if I didn't go for a week vacation. So I'm excited to see what August will look like with a new plan going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And your net profit is not that high, but you're also factoring in your car payment into that. So, I'd say most couch flippers, when they're doing this financial analysis, their car payment is being accounted for separately. But if the predominant usage or predominant reason you have that vehicle is for the business, then this is actually the correct way of categorizing it.
Okay.
It's a business expense. And so you're making net income maybe like $1,700 a month.
Yeah, not where I want to be at.
Mm-hmm. So where do you want to be at?
I want to be closer to like 5 or 6. Eventually, if I could get up to 8 a month, that would be sweet. And if I have to like scale it up, hire drivers and cleaners to do that, get a bigger storage space, I'll do that. But it's kind of just like, I don't know where to look or what to do, what steps to take going forward.
Right. How do you solve, you don't know where to start. And so that's what we're going to figure out together on this call. So the first thing is, as you were filling out the sales, like the spreadsheet, did you feel like you learned anything about your business? Anything come out of it?
Yeah, I think that I need to boost my listings, because one thing I worry about is holding on to couches. I have like a 7-day turnaround time. It's not what I want to be at. I want to be at like way lower than that. And I feel like I don't boost my ads, so it's like hit or miss when I get a lot of clicks on the listing. And when I do get a lot of clicks, it sells at the price I want it to. But when I'm not getting clicks is when I take lowball offers or I drop the price, and that ends up taking away from my profit margins per couch. And then also makes me sit on couches longer, so I can't pick up because my space is limited, if that makes sense. So I feel like recently I've noticed that, or just through this, I noticed I want to get a bigger storage space and then try and keep up the volume that I've been doing this month in June with higher profit margins. I just don't know how to do that, and I don't know if boosting will realistically help me change those numbers.
Okay, cool. Well, your gross margin is around 55% for the year. Your net margin after expenses is around 27%. I would say, your gross margin could be a little bit higher versus what I've seen. These are not terrible numbers to be working with, but I think you just hit on something very important. When you're not getting enough visibility on your listings, you actually end up losing money because you'll take a lower offer than what you initially thought the couch was worth just to get rid of it.
Right.
So in a way, it's like penny wise, pound foolish, right? Because you think you're saving money because you're not putting money into the boost, but as a result, you're not getting visibility and you end up losing that money anyway.
Right.
So so that's an important thing. And the other thing is, as you're filling this out, you're looking at your average turnover time. As I've discussed in the group and some other, content that I've been sharing, having a low turnover rate is extremely important. Generally, if a couch is sitting in inventory for more than 2 weeks, you got to get rid of that thing. It's just not worth it. There has to be some consistency in which you are turning over couches if you want to be successful at this business. And you hit on some of the factors, which is you're paying for storage. And so the longer it sits in inventory, the more storage cost is being racked up. And at a certain point, it prevents you from bringing in new additional inventory. So not only is there a cost to actually storing it, which may outweigh the cost of a boost. The other thing is, with this business model, it's all about finding good deals. And there are two aspects to finding a good deal. The first is getting there first and seeing all of what's available, having visibility into the deals that are available and getting there first. That's what the Ivy Flip app helps you with, right? Because as soon as something is posted, we send you a notification, and we also aggregate all of the couches that are being posted on Facebook, Craigslist, and OfferUp into a single feed. So that's one aspect of getting a good deal that we help you with. The other aspect of finding good deals that we don't help you with is recognizing a good deal in the first place. So understanding what couches to buy that you can make a good profit margin on. So that comes from trial and error, it comes from experience. And this is why when you look in that no nonsense group, there are a ton of people posting questions. Should I buy this couch? How much can I sell this couch for? Right? That's it's almost like, it's a big part of the game. So how do you figure out what couches to buy? Well, you got to buy a lot of couches. And the longer you sit on couches, the less couches you're buying, the less experience you're getting. And so really, to do it the right way, there should be some level of experimentation, right? It's good to find your bread and butter, like the kinds of couches that you can pick up all the time and you're going to make your money on. But outside of these couch styles that have been popularized and everyone knows about, maybe there are other niches in terms of couch styles that you could be tapping into, but you'll never know unless you experiment and try that out a little bit, right? So it's really important to get some volume going for all of those reasons. Now, thinking about, let's talk about your storage costs specifically, right? How much do you pay for your storage unit?
I have two separate ones. It's kind of just been all over the place, but I have a 10 by 30 for $260 and I have a 10 by 20 for $275 that I'm probably going to get rid of this month. But I'm still going to have two storage spaces. I think I'm just going to get another 10 by 30 for $260 at the new place. It has a lot more room and it's easily accessible compared to the other one.
Got it. And so how many couches can you store in your two storage units?
So right now, comfortably, 11 or 12. With the other unit, probably closer to 15. If I could get two 10 by 30s at the beginning of August, it'll probably be about 15.
Per storage unit?
Not total.
Okay, so your total capacity for sectionals, just to make it easy, let's say it's 10 sectionals, right?
Yep. Sure. Yeah, we could do that for now.
Yeah, and you pay $550 in storage cost, and you can fit 15 sectionals, right? Let's say for simplicity. So every sectional that sits in storage for a month costs you $36. Let's say, right? 550 divided by 15.
Yeah.
And so when we think about booths, how much is a booth? $4 a day for 3 days. And then you'll probably sell it at the end of that 3-day period. The boost is going to cost you, let's say, $12. But if it sits in inventory for 2 weeks, it's cost you $18.
I understand.
Right? So in that way, you're literally losing money by not boosting.
Yeah. So if I could pay $100 right now to sell all my couches this week, it'd be well worth it. Okay. I get it.
Now you've turned over all your couches. You're not waiting on them to sell and for buyers
to sit in storage. Instead, I'm flipping them quicker.
Exactly. And we just did the math. You're literally paying more in storage cost than you would to just do the boost and get that inventory out there. And now that you've turned over all of your inventory, guess what? You've made that net profit. Let's say you've made that $1,500. Now you have an opportunity to make another $1,500 because you've cleared out everything that's in inventory. If you do that, you're boosting each couch and you're spending, I don't know, $15, $25 on a couch. The thing that you and I just talked about is maybe you can command a higher price point. And so instead of having an average sale price of $400, your average sale price goes up to $500. Now, all of a sudden, instead of making $200 in gross profit on a flip, you're making $300 in gross profit. And so your business, without doing anything else except for just adding in boosts, has increased 50%.
Jeez. I might just go boost a couple listings right now.
Yeah. If you're not boosting, I would say start. It's this penny wise, pound foolish thing. When you're starting a business, it's good to keep your costs low. Be risk averse. Be very conscious about how and where you're spending money. But you don't want to do that at the cost of limiting your success. And this is what I see couch flippers do all the time. They're afraid to spend the money. They're afraid to take the risk. And so they sort of stay in this state of limbo where they're doing okay, but they're not really doing as good as they could if they really went for it. And it's because they're scared of jumping in. And my advice to people who are straddling the fence, they're half in, half out, is you got to pick a side. Do you want this to just be a side hustle? And in which case, limit your costs. Spend 5-10 hours a week doing it, but you're working a full-time job, right? If you're really going for it, understand what is a cost and what is an investment in your business. And these are different things. So some people say that about our software. Well, why do I need a, $100 or $400 a month tool to help me find couches? I'm like, well, how serious are you about flipping couches? Because if you really want every advantage to grow your business, then you should be asking me, you should be begging to pay me this money, because it's going to help you find more couches, better couches, so you can grow your business. It's an investment. And so that's more of the mindset that I think you need to shift into. And just doing this simple analysis of your performance thus far, we've already identified 2 opportunities. It's the same opportunity, really. It's just like, let's put some more money into boosts. That way you're turning over couches faster. You're paying less in storage cost. And maybe because you have more volume, you have more demand, you feel more confident charging a higher price for some of the items that you have.
100%. And I think I am in that limbo stage where it's like, it's covering the bills, but it's not helping me make any other moves. I don't have extra money to invest in other things or start other things. It's like, get by, take the chunk of money I have left, flip it back in a month, and then do it again. Mm-hmm. So I hear what you're saying. I'm going to boost the listings. I think it will make a big difference in turnover rate. So I won't have to be paying, holding so long. And it will, in turn, I think, drive up my sale price. So if I boost these today, maybe within the next couple of days, I could get a bunch of these sold. And everything you're saying is 100% right. And it's not like something I could always put into words, but it is hard to understand what's an expense and what is an investment. And there's Ivy Flip has been sweet. It's been the best investment I've made in this business so far. So I appreciate you meeting with me and helping me continue going forward with that. The only other thing I would say is, if the boostings doesn't help me, is there another issue that I have? Or I'll have to see then.
Yeah, it could be. So my advice to people is take it one step at a time. When you're starting from zero, you have to do a lot of things at once. But you've been operating for a while. And so you have systems in place, and there's a way that you're doing business. And if you all of a sudden just overhaul what you're doing without a clear strategy, that can be counterproductive, because you're changing things and you don't know what is actually driving impact, what is driving performance for your business. So take it one step at a time. Let's try something simple, which is boosting your posts. And if that helps, great. Now we have a different problem, right? Which is we grew our sales, our business has increased 50%. But now we've hit another limit. And it seems like we can't go from that 50% to 100%. Okay, great. Now, what are some of the other problems? And it could be a variety of things. It could be the selection of inventory. It could be market issues, potentially. And I tend to think less in terms of like, your market is bad, therefore your business is bad, right? I think maybe I was talking to some other guy about this, but that's a limiting mindset, right? Because if you say the market is bad, that means there's nothing I can do about it.
Right.
And yeah. And so if the market is truly bad, get out of the market. You know what I mean? If the market is really, if that's the problem, go do something else. That's the long and short of it. Typically, though, I think the couch flipping markets are good, and it's not market issues. It's like a mindset issue, or it's some sort of performance issue. So anyhow, so let's try the post, boosting the post. If that doesn't, if that hits a limit, or if that's not working, now let's go look at another issue in the business. But at least now we've investigated whether or not boosting is going to help you or not. And now we can look at the next thing. And, could be something like your photography is not good enough. Your descriptions are not good enough. You're not editing the photos well enough. Your communication to your customers is not good enough. It might be that, and like what I've seen a lot of bigger flippers do, they end up getting a brick and mortar retail location, like sort of like a showroom. And then, they focus on getting people into the store. Maybe that's an effective approach for you. Or you need to transition to more of an online model and giving people enough information so that they can buy the furniture without having to be on site. I can't tell you what's going to work for your business specifically. Everyone is different. Every market is different. And you have to figure out the approach that works for you. And that's the name of the game. But let's tackle that one at a time. So I think the boosting, to me, seems like sort of the obvious thing that I would suggest to you at this moment.
Okay, cool. I think you said one important thing too is like a lot of times, especially before vacation, I get whatever couches out there so I'll flip 2 couches or 3 couches for the same profit margin. I could flip one with a boosted listing. So I think that's super important to think about, being more selective. There's so many couches that's the problem. I feel like, especially with Ivy Flip, you can pick up 3 or 4 couches a day if you want to, but probably got to be a little more careful.
Yeah, I would say you're doing pretty good in terms of your gross profit per flip. Wait, actually, let me double check that. You're not doing that good in terms of your gross profit per flip. Your gross profit per flip is low. It's 233.
Right.
233. I would say shoot for 4.
Well, so also I have 10 couches that haven't been sold. So I don't know if that affects numbers or how it does, but I have 10 couches sitting without a sales price on there.
It doesn't factor in the spreadsheet. It excluded from those calculations. So your gross profit per flip is low. Just, based on the range of customers I deal with, the minimum you should be shooting for is 300. And if you're doing 400, you're doing pretty good. If you're doing 500, you're doing great. That's the way to think about it. So those are some benchmarks for you. Try to get to 400 profit per flip. And what that means is being more selective about the couches that you're picking up. But there's like you just said, you can pick up 3-4 couches a day if you wanted to, using Ivy Flip. And let's just do the math, right? Let's do the math really quickly.
And I should take back that, because you can, but you probably wouldn't get 4 quality couches if you picked up 4 a day. Probably get 1 or 2, or maybe 1 a day that's really good, and the other 2 that are like.
So I did this calculator. Let's say you want to get to $10,000 a month in gross monthly sales, right? And that's just revenue.
Yeah.
So right now you're doing about $6,000 a month. That's a 40%. Sorry, that's a $4,000 increase, right? assuming everything else in your business stays the same, to get to $10,000 in gross sales, you need to do 23 flips.
Huh. I might hit that this month.
That's it. So you don't need to flip a ton of couches, right? You
Trying
don't
to get my sales price up.
actually, no, you don't even need to increase your sales price, because we're just talking like that portion of the spreadsheet is using your average performance, like your average metrics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just based on like if everything else in your business stayed the same, how much your average purchase price, your average sale price, all of that stayed the same, and you wanted to get to $10,000 in revenue, then all you need to do is flip 23 couches.
That's wild.
Right?
Good perspective to have.
Right. And this is why we do the analysis, because it gives you very clear goals, gives you very clear numbers. So you can understand, what do I need to do to actually move this thing forward? You don't need to flip a crazy number of couches. So like what you need to do is like if you did one a day, you're in a great spot, right? You're in a great spot. You do one a day. You don't even have to take Monday off, right? Take Monday, Tuesday off. Flip every other day in the week. You can have time to yourself, right? And you're still going to do $10,000 in gross profit now, or gross revenue. Now imagine on top of that, you're making $200 more gross per flip.
Oh yeah.
Right?
It's almost double then, because I'm only making 200.
Yeah. So what I recommend you do is all the inventory that you're sitting on, like focus on clearing that out every week. Like all the couches you have, sell it. Sell everything you got. And then like next week, load up again and then sell it.
Okay.
Right? Like,
that's a question I have too. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
And just you deal with so many flippers. How do they do it? Is that how they do it? Stock up, offload, and then stock up, offload? Or is it like offload, stock up, offload at the same time, whatever's selling, bring it in out at the same time? Or is it like, I'm only selling this week, I'm only buying this week, I'm only selling this week?
Yeah. Totally depends on the flipper.
Okay.
Totally depends on the flipper. It depends on your situation. Do you have help? Like how far do you have to drive? Are you selling to people? Are people coming to visit you? And then you're selling them, delivering it to them? Are they buying it without like showing up to your location? The important thing is having a process, having a consistent process that works for you, that is fairly optimized. So I'm working with the flipper right now in Brooklyn. And the thing that I noticed about how he's operating is he's not doing things up front. Like he doesn't have a consistent process in like bringing in the couch. And that's causing chaos for him down the road. Because what will happen is like he gets the couch, takes like 2 photos, and then he like lists it immediately. Right. But then like people start like messaging about the listing. Hey, I have questions. You have another photo of the back of the couch. What's the manufacturer? And so then he has to go pull this couch out of storage, set it up, take more photos, get the tag, and then put it back. And then, every time he moves that couch in and out of storage, it's like the storage unit is dirty. The couch is getting dirty. And then it's like, you do that enough times, shit, I got to clean the couch again. Right? Instead of when you go find the couch, you do a thorough inspection. And then you bring it to your storage unit. You clean it. You write down the make, manufacturer, origin, fabric. Does it come from pet-free home, smoke-free home? You get all the information you need to write the listing. You take 8 to 10 photos. You get a video, right? Now you have everything up front that you need to sell that listing efficiently. You collect it up front instead of having to go back and forth. Now, I think that's like a basic thing. So everyone should do that. But, should you schedule all of your pickups for one day versus, doing a pickup in the morning and then a drop off in the evening, right? So like some people, they'll do Monday, Tuesday, pickups, Wednesday, Thursday, cleaning, and then sell on the weekends. Other people, it's like whatever it is, find the workflow that makes sense for you. And and the important thing is that you're consistent with it. That's the important thing.
Okay. That's awesome. I really appreciate all this advice. I feel like I have a different mindset going forward about how to handle all this.
Amazing. I'm glad I could help you, Tad. I'm always curious to see how this advice is taken, if it helps you in your business. And if it does, I'd love to hear about it and get an update from you in the future. If you have any other questions along the way, just let me know. We can always jump on a call.
Yeah, thanks so much. I appreciate your time. And then I'll let you know probably in like a month how things are going.
Great. Good luck, Tad.
Thanks, Charles. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.